The last time President Trump was the president, or the first time he was the president, we didn't benefit from Trump's policies here in New York. And we have a huge problem with offenders, actual offenders. We have a huge and a mass amount of them residing in New York. And so I just jotted down a couple of zip codes just to, uh, provide an understanding for people to see, what we're living with here in this city. And I'm going to start in Harlem. I'm going to start in Harlem and see what you do with no matter what state you are, because this covers 50 states. You just type in the zip code of where you are or whatever area you're curious about, right? And so we have 0037. Okay. And it's a very popular section of Harlem. You have find a lot of our people are still there, but they have, a lot of Africans and, different people there. And when a map pops up, I want to show you because I want you to understand how disturbing it is to live in a city that has so many pedophiles. Now, if you scroll down, they explain the color pegs, right? And so, other offenses, sexual battery, rape, these things happen to, people who are of age. The red, the two different color reds, those are offenses against the child. Now you see the offender can either be in home or other, right? Meaning school, camp, or whatever. But the red is what we're going to focus on today. Now this is a section in Harlem, right? Got the zip code. You can find out for yourself. And yeah, so you see the red. You see all that red. And they have in total 1,216 on the map. 245 are unmapped offenders, meaning that they're not on this map. Okay? They're not on the map. But in total, you would have to combine these two numbers, and that'll give you the full total of how many predators are in Manhattan, in that zip code. And mind you, just a little education on zip codes in New York. You could literally be on one block, walk over maybe 3 or 4 blocks, and you're in that zip code. You're in a whole nother zip code. So it's not a lot of space in between these predators. Not a lot of space. I'm right here, let's say I'm 10421 and 10423 is just 3 blocks over, and I got 1,000 pedophiles over here, sexual offenders over here, and then I walk over and they got 2,000 over there. And see, this is just a matter of blocks we're speaking of, okay? And so I'm so anxious for the National Guard to come to New York because we have a problem with offenders. And we don't know how many of them are illegal aliens and how many aren't. We don't know. The public doesn't know. And so, with the mass amount of numbers that you're going to see, you will agree with me that we need the National Guard to come in and do something about this. Now, I'm going to take you to Brooklyn. I'm going to take you to Bensonhurst, and I'm going to take you to Williamsburg. So, Bensonhurst is 11204. Let's go there. This is a great website. These people, I mean, God bless them. God bless them. I would send them a dozen roses. I mean, I really appreciate this website so much because it's so helpful. My children are grown, but I do have, grandchildren. So it's good to know where these people are. Now, again, we're focusing on the red. This is in Bensonhurst, and they're telling you that they have 209 on the map, and only 25 are unmapped. This is Bensonhurst. But look at the amount of red. It's not like you see one red peg or two. Look at the amount of offenses against children. Those are all offenses against children, the red. and this is Bensonhurst. So you add that up, and that's the total amount of predators there. That's Bensonhurst, right? Didn't look as bad as Harlem did, right? Now let's go to Williamsburg. East Williamsburg. And it's very important to do this and to have, share this with your family. The holidays are coming. A lot of us have different people coming into the city still. They are swamping the Bronx. They are coming in. I'm seeing people I've never seen before, different ethnic groups. I'm like, wow, I don't know where they're coming from, but they are entering the Bronx. A lot of Mexicans. We never had Mexicans. It's a lot of Mexicans in the Bronx now. And we've never had Mexicans here. And they are like all over. We have 762 mapped offenses and 422 unmapped. So there goes your thousand, over 1,000 right there. And this is Williamsburg, Brooklyn, East Williamsburg. And look at the sea of red. Look at the red. Look at the red pegs. And what's most disturbing to me is when you see them clustered up together like that. Instantly, I think of trafficking ring. Because, if I'm bringing kids into the country, who else would I be, trying to give these kids to? Who would help me hide these kids and, keep them undetectable, right? Like prep, keep the kids undetectable. Who would do that? Maybe people who like children in an inappropriate manner. But look at all that red. This is in Brooklyn. Now let's go over to Queens. Let's check Queens out. We really need help here. It's gone on for too long that we have had all of these predators here, and it is a shame. It's a shame. I'm taking you to Far Rockaway. I used to live out in Far Rockaway. I miss living in Far Rockaway. It's so nice to live by the beach. I miss it. I really do. Okay, we went over that, and they're telling you on the map they have 153 mapped and 29 unmapped. Okay, and mind you, these is I just jotted down like 2 or 3 zip codes. I'm not taking you through the whole borough. So please don't think the zip codes that I'm typing in represent the whole borough because there's many zip codes. And by the time you got finished tallying them all up, you will be sick to your stomach. But this is Far Rock, okay, what they would call Bayswater. Shout out to Bayswater. And look at the red. Look at the red. That's too many. See the little cluster? Get a little cluster of them. That's too close. Now, what you will do, I'm not going to do it because I don't know how YouTube feels about it. And I also don't want to give any of them the opportunity to say I did something to cause a harm to them. Okay? Because last thing I want to do is acquiesce to a predator. So I'm not going to go over, but that's how you get to know who they are. You just click on them and then picture and what they'll have the offense and the age of the child that they wrong. They're not going to tell you verbatim, excuse me, what they did, but they will have the offense there. Most of them. Some of them are so egregious they don't even bother. Okay, but look at all the red crimes against children. I think that's an emergency. When you total up all the boroughs, like I didn't do Staten Island, I didn't cross New Jersey's a whole nother state, but we're literally minutes from each other. I didn't incorporate New Jersey. I just gave you a couple of the boroughs. You know, I left Staten Island out of it because from what I hear, they handle business pretty well over there. But let me give you another one in Queens. I believe this is going to be Jamaica, Queen. Yeah, Jamaica. I got Jamaica Queens down here. And let's get down. They got 0 right now, but that's going to change. Yep, here we go. And Now, keep in mind, all of these pegs are sexual offenses, but we're focusing on the red because those are against children. So look at all these predators. All these predators. Look at all that. Cluster, cluster, you know. I see them too close together. That's a cluster, and it concerns me. It disturbs me. Did I make it bigger? I didn't mean to. Yeah. Yep. So that's Queens. It's Jamaica Queens here, where they have 117 mapped and 23 unmapped. Okay. But as you keep adding them on and adding them on and adding them on, pretty sure we done got up to about 3,000. And that's too damn many. That's too many. So we did Queens, we did Harlem, we did Brooklyn. Let's do Manhattan. Oh, two. Let's do Manhattan. What? Nope. I forgot a zero. Another zero. Man, I'm disgusted, man. I'm just so disgusted with what's going on. I don't know if you guys, whoever watches the video, if you're from New York, but ma'am, Danny broke down, you know. And it's a sad thing that he's getting the death threats and that people are threatening his wife. But this is New York. That's no excuse, but this is New York. And yeah, you're gonna get death threats. You're gonna get all type of stuff. You know how many people just get death threats just walking down the street? You could get into an argument with somebody and they'll give you a death threat. Like, this is normal behavior for people here. This is why we don't need people to be getting out of prisons and all of that. He should change his whole stance. Because just that experience you had, that should let him know what's going on for the rest of us. If they're calling you, telling you that, imagine what life is like for just the average Joe coming into some nutcase or somebody who just has a problem because they want to have a problem. Imagine. This is what we're saying. We're unsafe. And he's trying to tell you, oh, we got to reduce the prison population and we're going to do rent freezes, which is the stupidest thing because when you do a rent freeze, you know what's going to happen? The rents will stay where they are, right? But that has to stop. And when the rent freeze ends, the rent quadruples. And your ass will be out of there because you won't be able to afford to be there because it's going to be even higher than what you were complaining about. So the most intelligent thing to do is to get the illegals out. We have about 1 million of them and they all need to go. And when you do that, you will have a surplus of housing and the rents, that will make the rents go down because they will have to be more competitive with each other. Landlords will have to become more competitive if you get rid of the illegal aliens. That will make the rents go down. Not freeze, but down. That's what they won't tell you. But that's the truth of the matter. Here we are in Lower Manhattan, and look at the red. Now, this is Manhattan. This is Manhattan, home of the liberals. Or what's left of them. They just lost a batch of people. Democrats just keep losing, and they just gonna keep on crashing. But yep, look at the clusters. This is Manhattan, Lower East Side, I believe. Look at that. Look at that. It's a disgrace. Total disgrace. Now I'm gonna do the Bronx. Let's look at the Bronx. What in the world just happened? I don't know. Bronx. It's a disgrace here. There's so many predators here. Oh, and people keep that quiet. I find it very repulsive how quiet these people are. It's disgusting how quiet people are about this sexual stuff going on. People manage to spread rumors, get on the internet, talk trash about people and shit, but the kids are never important. Where I'm at, it doesn't matter if they can't read and they ain't on grade level, and evidently it doesn't matter if they're getting touched on either. So here we are, 1100, 1,185 mapped offenders, 209 unmapped. Now add that up. You over 2,000. And tell me that's not too much damn predators clustered up all around these kids in schools in one area like this, in one zip code. It's disgusting how many. The Bronx is filled. I could go on and on through zip code, and a lot of the numbers look like this. High. They anywhere from like 6 to 1,000, over 1,000. It's disgusting in the Bronx, man. Disgusting. Look at this crap. Come, ICE. Come, National Guard. Because we don't know how many of them are illegal aliens. Come. Come, help us. Save our children. It is a national emergency. Our children are in danger. Look at this. And mind you, with the million that, now that we're up to about 1,000,000 too, with the buses or whatever, who knows how many of them are predators? We don't even know. You have to wait for them to offend to find out. Man, oh man, I just can't believe it. I just hope that we get to benefit, whoever the mayor is. I just hope he allow us to benefit from the president's policies this time. You know. But yeah, my daddy broke down. He was crying, shit. I said, yeah, man. Yeah, I don't think he should drop out the race because I don't think if you break down like that, I don't know. Like, how many y'all still got confidence? Not to say that people can't have a weak moment or whatever. I understand um the seriousness of the matter. I do understand, the seriousness of it, and it probably hurt him to hear somebody say that. But if you can't withstand that, you can't run New York City. Because New York City, one thing, is full of assholes, full of them. It's an all day occurrence. But look at this. It's another zip code right here. Look at this, the Bronx. Well, I tell you, 1,354 mapped offenders, 224 unmapped. So that's just telling you that, they're not on the map. These over here, the ones where it says mapped, they're on the map. Unmapped, they're not. But they know, they are aware of these offenders. Now, do the math on that. Come on now. And I could take you through zip code after zip code throughout the Bronx, and this is what you're getting. They love the Bronx, man. They love these kids out here. Disgraceful, man. Look at this. This is a disgrace. And all of those politicians should be ashamed. Every Democratic politician in the Bronx, Manhattan, all the boroughs, everywhere I showed you, they should be ashamed of themselves. And they out here crashing out and fighting for predators and disrespecting people's dead loved ones and shit like that. What the hell is going on with that party? It's a disgrace. I don't even want to get into them. But this makes me sick, man. Every year I come on here and I, just to check to see how many more or whatever. Right where my family is at, I check to see what's going on around them, even if they're not in New York State. I have family. A lot of my family, majority of my family is in the South. The bulk of us are in the South, but we're spread out. We have family in New York, got some family in Chicago, got some family, in different places or whatever like that. We break up and, branch out a little bit, but I have family in New York. And so I keep up with these things because it's disgrace. You got to know where your kids are working. A lot of kids go to school by themselves. And when the weather gets bad, that's a gold mine for them because you could barely see, like if it's snowing, it's raining, it's cold. Everybody's just going. Nobody's really paying attention to nothing. So you could easily just snatch up a kid and throw him in your car because it's cold and everybody's just trying to move. Just a couple of months ago out in Brooklyn, it was a mother, a father, and a son. And the father must have been like at a stand or something, like, but he wasn't too far away. But the mom was standing right next to her son. And this man walked up to her and her son, snatched her son, and started running. Just snatched her, picked the boy up, and started running. And this wasn't like it was a toddler. This kid had to be like 5 years old, 6 years old. He just picked the boy up and ran off with him. I'm not used to seeing that type of shit in New York. I don't know about anybody else. Then a couple of in the beginning, I don't know if it was in Biden was the president. There was a little Mexican guy on the bike, and he thought he was going to snatch up two little girls and still ride off on his bike. Just, I mean, we've always had missing children, but to see people so bold and brazen to just come up and I'm just gonna snatch your kid right from your side, man, we living in a crazy world. We are living in an insane world. But we need ICE here. We definitely need the National Guard to deal with these sexual offenders. There's too many of them. And if you shake the tree hard enough, I bet you they know where some of those 300,000 kids are that are missing. Because like I said before, who else you going to filter those kids through? You can't just go up to anybody. It has to be a ring. And look at this cluster here. Cluster over here. Cluster every doggone where. Cluster over here. Look at the amount of offenders. Just the, man. Let me get off of here. But I like to share this with people. It's very important. I like people to share this website with your family. The holidays are coming. Christmas, you're going to be doing shopping. A lot of things will be distracting to you, as we get into holiday seasons and stuff. And it's very important to keep up with who's around you and to keep your kids in front of you while you're out. Keep them in front of them. Never let your child get behind you while you're out and shopping. Or if you're in the park with your kids, pay close attention to them. Don't, turn your head this way, that way, because the old New York is gone. What we living in now is I don't know. Gotham City. Shh. Gotham City or whatever. Excuse me. Gotham City or whatever. You're welcome, sweetie. I don't know. But this is sad though. Tell me this is not sad and disgusting and grotesque. But come here. If you live in New York, put your zip code in, put other zip codes. Wherever you live, come in and put those zip codes in. Get that information and share it with your family. You might see somebody you know. Once you start, when you hover, you click. I'm not going to do it, but you click on one and that profile will pop up. So, I'm going to add the border czar. And even though I was rambling in there, he'll get the sense of what I'm trying to say if he can, if at least his assistant could click on this something, I would have greatly appreciated because we need something done about this. Too many kids are missing. We have girls missing. Nobody says nothing about that. Everybody's mad about illegal aliens, but nobody talks about the girls that are missing. It's sad. A lot of girls go missing. Young girls, 13, 12, 11, 14, 16, them young tender ages. A lot of them are gone, never to be seen again, and nobody talks about it. Nobody cares. And if you look at the numbers, I'm starting to feel like the reason why nobody cares is because so many people are involved. This is their brothers, their fathers, their boyfriends, their husbands. That's why nobody's talking about it. But this man needed 38. I just, I really hope the National Guard comes in to New York City. And I'm done with this.